Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Share Your Story. I'm really excited today because we have a top producer within the Market Center here with us and within the community as well. I'm so excited. And his name is Robby Cavinder. Welcome, Robby.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Yes, we're so glad you're here. Now, before we get into the questions, I have to ask you to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you really enjoy this video, and I know you will, please share it with someone because they too could learn something. Robby, you ready?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go, guys. You know, I always start these interviews with this question. How did you come to choose real estate?
I think real estate chose me, to be honest. I think it's one of the things that I was always interested in. I remember as a kid, when I was 3, 4 years old, I'd walk up to my grandma and tell her I want to be an entrepreneur. I didn't really know what that was at that point, but I went through a transition of a journey, to get to real estate.
Right.
But looking back, I wish I would have done it, like most people 10 years ago, 15 years ago.
Sure.
Right out of high school.
Right,
But, I went on that journey to get here.
Okay.
So it was an adventure to get into real estate, and it kind of one door opened and another door closed, and here I am.
Here you are. Yeah. So let's talk about that one door closing and the next door opening. Do you mind sharing with us that journey?
So, I grew up in California, obviously. I'm from Orange County, which is kind of between LA and San Diego. So, grew up going to church and always thought I'd be a pastor. And so I kind of took that, journey. Went to Bible school, got my degree in Christian education with a minor in biblical studies. And went into doing youth ministry, children's ministry. And was living in Orange County, which was ridiculously expensive. Wish I was selling houses out there, but don't want to live there.
That's similar to Orange County here, too, huh?
Yes. Not even close.
Wow!
The house in Orange County that's $400,000 would probably be $4 million out there.
How about that?
Yeah. Quite a bit of difference.
There is a difference.
So, but it got hard, because I was commuting and we couldn't afford to live right in the middle, and so I was, working in Irvine, and we lived in Corona, which was a 30-minute drive, 30-mile drive, but it'd be 2 hours of traffic. So, kind of through that transition, I was in ministry. We sat down one night and said, we need to get out of California. Where do we want to go? And so we found a job opening in North Carolina and had an interview out here, and the rest was history. We moved to North Carolina. And worked at that church for 2 years, then transitioned to a church in Durham for about a year. And it was in that process that I just didn't want that life, where we were spending our Sundays. It was a job. I wasn't going to church with my family. I was going to work. I was running a ministry of 500-600 kids, which was great, but it was my family was suffering, so I wasn't home. I wasn't going to church with them on Sunday. So that got hard. So we transitioned through that. I went through a hard time where I didn't know what I was going to do. I got into the appraisal business through a friend. And so I was a trainee for about 3 years. I did that. Also reassessed counties. So we reassessed Alamance. I reassessed Clay County up in the mountains. And kind of in that period was when I transitioned to real estate. So I went and got my license, and the rest was history. And it's funny because Scott Taylor, who was our team leader before Ariel, before Robin, I was his very first recruit when he moved here.
How about that?
And then, signed about 4 years later.
How about that?
Kind of that transition is, what brought me to real estate.
And that's an interesting transition. But I heard you say that being able to spend time with the family. And I feel that because I'm very involved with my ministry as well, with my church, and sometimes Sunday is like you're a 9 to 5. It's a job, so it can be tough to be able to juggle that. All right, very good. You also mentioned you worked as an apprentice or for an appraiser. Okay.
So I did that for a short time. I hated it.
Really?
I'm a people person. I am not a sit behind a desk and do paperwork, and that's a lot of what that was. Measuring. I got a lot of experience, but it was not my calling, and I learned that very quickly. I saw that as a great avenue.
Does it help Does it help you now in your?
Absolutely, because I've done, I don't know how many URAR forms. I mean, I've done all of that. Been down that road, been there, done that. But as far as appraising properties, I'd say yes for sure. And I definitely have that experience now, which is helpful, especially when I first got into real estate. Because they'd say, "How long have you been doing this?" Well, this is my first transaction. But I was able to say, "Well, I've been in the industry for 3 years, 4 years." So that definitely helped.
Yeah, so you used it to your advantage.
Absolutely, but still do.
I love it. I love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, so let's talk about your rookie year. You talked about getting started and who brought you in. Tell us about your rookie year. What did that look like? And how did you do?
Terrible. No, I didn't do terrible.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, got my license in August, and I tell that story all the time. So I got my license in August, first 4
Okay.
months, closed the first transaction in December.
Okay.
So hang in there. It's
Right.
not get rich quick. This is not some type of scheme.
Right.
Not that you can't sell
Right.
20 houses in your first 4 months. I didn't. I don't
Yeah.
know anybody that has.
Right.
And it just
Right.
took time. And and what I tell all agents, new or old, is that you got to get through that rough patch. You're gonna have that first 4, 5, 6 months where you don't have a closing.
I like that.
I've been there.
I like that.
You know, you got to stick through it, and I can't tell you how many people I've seen that I've personally talked to. I mean, I could name names, and they
Right.
stuck through those first 6, 7
Right.
months, and then they started on that trajectory
And
upwards.
just
Just doing the hard
that.
things. You know,
Exactly.
real estate.
Right.
Gary says all the time, real estate is simple but not easy.
Right.
You know, it's doing those simple things. It's making the phone calls, picking up the phone, calling your database,
Right.
calling for sell by owners, calling expires, whatever it is that you're working on. It's doing
Right.
that. So
Right.
yeah. So those first 4 months were tough.
Okay.
I had another job. That was the only
Okay.
reason I was able to do this. You
Okay.
know, because I obviously couldn't have. I think I had 4 kids at home at that point,
Okay.
and I couldn't jump 100% into real estate at that
Right.
point. So
Yeah,
I was doing
they
the
have to
dual
eat,
career.
right?
Yeah, I was doing the dual career because I couldn't say, okay, well, hopefully we close this one transaction,
Right,
you know.
right.
And then I closed 35 my first year. So my first 12 months, I closed
that?
35 transactions.
Wow.
Yeah.
And that's not that's great, but that's not common in
Sure.
real estate to do that many transactions.
Sure.
But like
Sure.
you said, doing what you do today shows up
Yep.
later. So
Yep.
yeah.
And it gets easier now. I mean, I don't have
Right.
to sit down and make 100 phone calls like I had to.
Right.
I mean, I used to sit in that, when the training room was over there, I used to
Okay.
sit in that room and just make phone calls all day
Yeah.
long.
Yeah,
You
how
know,
about
I
that?
mean, yeah, people still tell those stories.
Yeah, and you're here today. So let's talk about that. So after your first year, 35 transactions, and how long have you been in real estate?
So this is year 6.
Year 6.
Yeah.
Year 6, folks. First year, 35. You too can do this. Okay, so let's talk about this. Last month, top producer. Top producer for May. Tell us about all of the things that you're involved with as far as KW
Yeah.
Market Center,
Sure.
as well as KW International.
So I've had a lot of opportunities that have
Yeah.
come my way. I mean, my dream always when I started that
Yeah.
first year was, okay, I want to get on stage with Gary
Okay.
at some point.
Okay.
So last year, the day after my daughter was born, I got the call from
Wow.
Mindy, who is Gary's administrative assistant, said, Gary
Okay.
wants to interview you for Mega Camp.
Okay.
So it was kind of embarrassing because we tried to do it at home.
Yeah.
Had a kid jumping in the window behind me. The internet wasn't working.
Oh,
so Gary and
okay.
Jay were on the other side. And they're like, we got to stop this, cut this. So I had to come into the office the next day to do the interview because it wasn't working
Okay.
from home. But
Okay.
but yeah, that call opportunity came up. And
Yeah.
so I was
Yeah.
spotlighted as a mega producer.
Right, right.
At Mega Camp, and
Okay.
so I've had so many opportunities from teaching
That's
in the Market
awesome.
Center, teaching Ignite, being on the
Right.
ALC for 3 of the last, not this
Yeah.
year, but the last 3 years I
Right.
served on the ALC.
I love
Being in Gary Keller's top 100 individual agents.
That's
Um,
That's a big deal, folks.
Yeah.
In Gary Keller's
I don't know how many
top
individual
100.
agents we have in the
Right.
company, but there's probably, I don't know, 100,000, maybe more.
Right, right.
So to be a part of that group
yeah.
is pretty cool. And I'm on a monthly call with Gary
Okay.
for 2 to 3 hours. So
Okay.
it's pretty awesome coaching.
Right.
I mean, from who else?
Right.
So
The
it's a
man
pretty
himself.
cool opportunity.
Exactly.
And then within KWR, I've been invited to be part of a couple groups. One's called the Reasonable Humans Group, which
Okay.
I don't know who made up that, but if you know who David Voorhees is and Jason Abrams, so
Right,
we have a
right.
monthly call with them,
Okay.
and then basically
Okay.
we're labbing is what we're doing.
Right.
So we're beta testing things like the new app that's
Sure.
coming out. I've been able
Sure.
to use some of those things
Okay.
in my business that nobody else even knows about.
Right,
so
right.
Some of that stuff's been pretty cool.
Wow.
Opportunity.
I
Yeah.
love that. And in only 6 years, folks. Only 6 years.
Yeah.
Robbie, that's amazing.
Yeah,
It
thank you.
really is amazing. So it says to me that looks like you were successful as a youth pastor or working in the church, but you brought that same work ethic,
Yeah.
and consistency into
Yeah.
real estate. I
Yeah.
absolutely love that. So let's talk about this family. You said you got the call right after your daughter
Yep.
was
Yeah.
born, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so talk to me about family. I know
Sure.
you have kids and
Yeah.
a wife. So how has real estate really helped with spending more time with your family?
We've been able to do a lot of things I never
Okay.
thought we would do.
Okay.
So we live on 36 acres in Liberty.
Okay.
We just finished building a barn and we have a pasture. So we've been able to do a lot of
Right.
things that my wife has always wanted to do.
Okay.
And I've learned.
That's important.
So
It's very
yes.
important. Doing things
Yes.
wives want to do.
So I milk a cow every day now. At 6:30, well, milking 2 cows right now.
How about
So
that?
it's been a lot of learning. We've raised
Right.
pigs. We have chickens.
Okay.
We're in the process of getting horses. We have
Uh-huh.
cows.
Yeah.
We've done a lot of things that I never thought I would do. My family
Yeah.
laughs at me being from the city.
Right.
You know, here I am a farmer. I have a tractor. You know, I mean, things that
Right.
I've experienced that I never thought I would.
Right,
So.
especially in California. Right?
Yeah, especially out there. But it's allowed me to be more in control of my time.
Right.
You know,
I love that.
I mean, even being in real estate, even being busy,
Yeah.
I don't work Sundays. I don't really work
know.
Saturdays.
Let me tell you, I called him one day, I called him maybe on a Friday, and your voicemail says
Yeah.
what? Tell me what your voicemail, because I
Yeah.
loved it when I said.
So I don't remember
need to do this.
I don't remember who I picked that up from. I was in a class or something somewhere, and the guy said that you have to set your expectations on your voicemail with your client. You set your expectations up front. If
Right.
you don't, they're gonna take advantage of you.
They will.
And it's true.
They
And
will.
they'll still call you at 3 a.m. I mean,
Yeah.
I've had those doctor clients that will call you at 4:30 in the morning. I'm not, you know,
Right.
answering. So I changed my voicemail to say, if you call me on Sunday,
Yep.
I'll call you back on Monday. If you call me after 6, I'll
Yep.
call you back the next day.
I love
So I set that expectation. And am I 100% by that? No.
Sure, there are
know,
exceptions, but
There are
not the
exceptions.
rule.
But at
It's
the end
not
of the day,
rule.
there's no emergency in real estate.
Exactly.
At 6:30 at night, what are you going to solve?
They think
That you can't
there
solve
are.
at 9:30 the next
Yeah,
morning.
you're absolutely
You know.
right.
So I try to
It
stick
feels
by
like
that.
one.
I mean,
Yeah.
I primarily don't work weekends. I don't
Yeah.
remember the last time I went out on a Saturday for anything.
Really?
I try to really stick to Monday
Right.
through Thursday, really even.
Right.
I'm usually home on Friday.
Okay, okay.
You know, my kids will say you're on the phone all the time, but I try not
But
to
you're
be.
home, though.
I try not to
You're
be.
present.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get better at that. I am no
Okay.
expert,
Okay.
but I'm trying to get better about,
I love
take off
it.
the Apple Watch, put the phone in the room, and
Right.
detach.
I love that,
So,
Robbie. I love
yeah.
it. So, what do your children think? Well, and your wife about real estate? I guess they love it because it's afforded her
Yeah.
and the family some things
Yeah.
that you may not would have had otherwise.
For sure. Yeah,
So
it's
what do
allowed
they
us to do
think?
a lot of things. I think
Yeah.
overall they're very into it. My kids
Okay.
want to be real estate agents when they grow up.
Really?
Yeah, they
and
walk
what are
around.
the ages?
So Ethan is, let's see, he was born in 10, so he'll
Okay.
be 11 this year.
Okay.
So Ethan will be 11. Lindy is 9.
Okay.
Weston is 7.
Okay.
Luke is 5. Bo is 3, and Emmy will be 1 in August.
How about
So,
that?
yeah.
And they want to be real
All the way
estate
down.
agents?
Yeah, they walk around. It's funny. There's certain people I'll talk to, like, you
Yeah.
know, lender partners or whatever, and they know
Right.
their names. So walk around and just, they say their name, and it's quite
That
hilarious.
is so cute. I
And
love
I
that.
used to take them with me. We'll
Yeah.
start doing that again now, but
Right.
I would take them with me too.
Right.
You know, like
Okay.
I'd have a day a week where I didn't have a bunch of craziness going on, and I'd have them come with me.
Okay.
And they would see kind of what I did.
Right,
you know,
right.
Which was cool.
I
So.
love that. Love it, love it, love it. This reminds me of, I said we had a celebrity. I was interviewing a celebrity with Margaret McCann, but this is another celebrity that I am interviewing. And I love and your story sounds similar to hers, how she had the kids helping her
Yeah.
at a young age, and now they're all just about in real estate.
And that's my goal with them. I mean, 'cause
Yeah.
really to go get a college degree like I
Right.
did,
Right.
you know, you're in debt coming right out. How
Exactly.
much? Not to brag, but I'm making the same amount of money doctors are, but I don't have the debt that the doctor has.
Exactly.
You know?
And that's the thing, not having that
Yeah.
debt. If
Yeah.
that's what you want to do, fine.
Sure.
But, you know,
and
there
if
are
my
other
kids want to be a heart doctor, then
Exactly.
I'm all for it,
Exactly.
but,
But
you
there
know.
are other avenues
Absolutely.
to making that
Absolutely.
same type of money without the same type of
Yeah.
expense.
Absolutely.
Okay. Very good. So what does your wife think? What does she say about this celebrity that comes home every day?
she'd probably give you a different side of everything, but I mean, I think the biggest thing for her is the balance part
Yep.
of it, and I'm still working on it.
Okay,
You know, I'm no
okay.
expert at it, and she
Yeah.
stays home and homeschools our kids.
Okay, nice.
So there's a lot. She has a lot going on
Right.
all the time.
So
you
that's
know.
a job for her.
Yeah,
That's
her job, and that's what when we got married. That was something we agreed to. You know, her role would be at home, and my
Okay.
job would be to go to work. You
I
know,
love
and
it.
in ministry you don't make money, so I delivered pizza that night. I waited on tables. I did all of those things to
Right.
put bread on the table.
Right, you did
Thankfully, I
what
don't have to
you
do that
did.
stuff anymore.
Right,
But
right.
you know, I grew a lot during those times
Sure,
as well. So
sure.
you know, she has her role, and that's home raising the kids, and
I love it.
mine is to go out and
Yeah.
beat the path.
Exactly, and allow them to eat when
Yes,
they're at home.
yes.
I love that. I love it, love it, love it. So you mentioned milking cows.
Yes.
Okay. What is that like? Like my mom grew up on a farm and all
Yeah,
of that, but
yeah.
I never had that experience.
So we hand milk the two. We have a machine, but we haven't quite learned how to
Okay.
use the machine
Okay.
yet.
Okay.
So the one milk cow we've had for a while, we're going to
Yeah.
dry her out pretty soon because
Okay.
she's pregnant.
I see.
And then we got a second milk cow because once she dries out,
Mhm.
you know, but we get about 4 gallons a day.
Okay. Okay.
Now when they calf, it's even worse because it'll be like
Really?
8 to 10 gallons a day.
Really? So somebody has to be there.
Somebody has to either milk it by
Right.
hand, or
Right.
you got to get the machines on there, and
Machine to
you know,
do it.
machines are a lot easier because it's a lot faster.
Right.
I sit out there for an hour
Wow.
every morning.
That's
milking.
pretty neat. I absolutely love it. Okay, Robbie. Well, one last question for you.
Sure.
What would you say to that new agent that starting in real estate, don't know exactly what to do, what would you share with them? And I want you to look
Sure.
right into that camera and talk to
Yeah,
that one
so
agent.
as a new agent, I think the biggest thing I did, two things. One was I took bold right off the bat, because what that did is help me identify how am I going to find business. What is your source of business? Because you can't do everything, right? Read Gary Keller's book, The One Thing. You got to find one thing that you focus on. So that one thing, when you focus on it, it expands and contracts and becomes more. And so the biggest thing to me was I focus on for sale by owners, and that's how I built my business.
Okay.
And still to this day is the number one source of my business is for sale by owners and prospecting around them.
Wow.
So you can do this business in 1,000 different ways. You've got to find your one way. So what is your one thing that you're going to do today so that tomorrow, you can continue to grow and expand your business? And I think that's the biggest thing for me, was taking bold and then identifying that one thing.
How about that? You heard it right here from a top producer. So listen to his words and take what he says. And thank you so much for joining us for this Share Your Story episode. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and also share if you enjoyed the content.